What are the worst LEGO Star Wars sets of all time? Last week, to celebrate May the 4th and the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, I released my ultimate top 25 countdown of the best LEGO Star Wars sets ever made. This week, I'm feeling a little bit spicier. Today, we're going to switch gears and look at the opposite end of the spectrum. While I don't think there are 25 LEGO Star Wars sets I hate enough to make an entire list that big, we're still going to do a classic top 10 countdown. Without further ado, here are my picks for the top 10 worst LEGO Star Wars sets ever made. Before we get started, there's one category of LEGO Star Wars sets I did not consider eligible for this list. That is gimmicky sets. This includes stuff like Microfighters, 4+, or whatever the heck the 2019 action battle sets were. We all know those sets are weird and tacky.
Tacky and I hate you.
Okay, you see me after class.
There's no need to rag on them here. I want to find the worst true LEGO Star Wars sets. Makes sense? Let's begin the countdown. Number 10, 75098, Assault on Hoth. The sub-theme of LEGO Star Wars, referred to as the Ultimate Collector Series, is very appropriately named. They are the sets made for the Ultimate Collector. They're usually bigger, better, and have way more detail. And this applies to pretty much every UCS set LEGO has ever done. None of the others even remotely sniffed this top 10 countdown. However, one UCS set in particular lives in infamy. I think we all know what it is. It's the 2016 quote-unquote UCS Hoth base. Referred to as the Assault on Hoth, this set was so detrimental to the UCS brand that LEGO had to make up an entirely new sub-theme so outrage like this would never happen again. While the set certainly is bigger than your normal LEGO Hoth set, it just felt like a glorified play-scale piece. None of the builds, and I mean none of them, were remarkably detailed, which is a huge minus for a UCS set. Additionally, there were just some unforgivable inaccuracies, including the shield generator only having 3 sections instead of 4, something that pissed off a lot of LEGO Star Wars fans. At the end of the day, the set just felt like a collection of small side builds from a play-scale set. And despite a really good variety of minifigures, it's by far the worst build the Ultimate Collector Series has ever seen. I can't in good faith say this is any worse than the other sets on this list, which is why it's only at number 10, but the worst UCS set of all time had to make this list. Number 9, 75080 AAT. Before this 2015 version of the AAT, LEGO had made 2 minifigure scale renditions of the vehicle before it, and they were both really fantastic sets. The Trade Federation version from 2000 to coincide with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, looks absolutely fantastic considering it is a 24-year-old set. 9 years later, LEGO made an updated version in gray and dark blue to coincide with his appearance in the Clone Wars, and once again this was a great-looking build for its time. When rumors began circulating we were going to get a new version from Episode 1 in 2015, I immediately thought they were basically going to recolor the 2009 version in tan. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. Instead, we got a horribly downscaled AAT that lacks a lot of detail. Seriously, what happened here? It just doesn't feel up to snuff, even with the version that was 15 years older at the time. Add on the fact that this set came with 0 new minifigures in 2015, and you have an ultimate recipe for disaster. Number 8, 75255 Yoda. The LEGO Star Wars buildable characters have been hit or miss for me. Some of them, particularly the droids, look great, while some of the more organic creatures like Chewbacca have a slight off-putting design. But there's only one total figure that I consider nightmare fuel, and that is the 2019 buildable Yoda. I appreciate some of the efforts here. I also like that they went with the prequel variation of the character. However, the face is way too creepy for me. Yoda's eyes just look dead inside. I don't want that thing in my house staring at me. I'm kind of convinced he could come to life Toy Story style, and I don't want to know what he would do next. Number 7, 4480 Jabba's Palace. I remember getting this set all the way back in the day on Christmas when I was a kid, and I was even disappointed with it then. Luckily, a great version of Jabba's palace was released in 2012. That set made my top 25 countdown. However, the original one from 2003 leaves so much to be desired. Firstly, the box art is misleading. Bib Fortuna is literally on there in his live action appearance, but you don't actually get the figure of him in the set. Secondly, the build is confusing. I'm not even really sure what I'm looking at. You get Luke Skywalker falling through the trapdoor into the Rancor pit, but no Rancor is included. This set did give us our first ever Jabba the Hutt minifigure, and for that I'm forever grateful, but the build itself is really bad, even by 2003 standards. Number 6, 75104, Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle. The 2019 version of this set is actually another product that made my top 25 list. However, the original Kylo Ren Shuttle is one of the worst LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. Why, you may ask? Well, it's ridiculously inaccurate. First off, the wings don't actually fold like they iconically do in the movie, which is a massive miss. Secondly, under the wings there are little small wings that are just straight up not in the movie. No idea what's going on there. Third, this version here is dark gray, while it's clearly in the movie a black ship with a red cockpit. That was a humongous oversight from LEGO. To be fair to the designers, they did have to base this design on concept art, and there are other toys that fit the exact same style LEGO portrayed. However, that doesn't make the set good, and that's why it's still one of the worst sets LEGO's ever concocted. Number 5, 7151, Sith Infiltrator. I really don't like ragging on the original 1999 LEGO Star Wars sets. Those things are classic, and obviously LEGO was a lot more primitive back in the day. However, this Sith Infiltrator has always irked me. It just looks so bad. The color scheme is all wrong. It should be a darker gray, and the blue accents just make zero sense. The design is infinitely blocky, even by 1999 standards. Finally, the sloping towards the midsection of the vehicle is just awful and lazy. That design is unforgivably bad. If this were the only set to come with Darth Maul, I might have given it some props, but he came in a $6 set that exact same wave, so it doesn't even have that going for it. Even though I give these old sets a huge benefit of the doubt, this one still falls flat. Number 4, 75177, First Order Heavy Scout Walker. Once again, this set is a big victim of strange concept art not actually ending up in the movie. In fact, this entire vehicle is literally not in the film The Last Jedi. There are pictures out there of said concept art, and LEGO did a half-decent job designing it, but the vehicle is kind of just hideous regardless. And the fact that an entire $50 set exists that never appeared in the film means that this is one of the most useless and undesirable LEGO Star Wars sets ever created. Because of this, it had to be in the top 5 on this list. Number 3, 75334, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader. Unfortunately, the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series was a major letdown in my opinion. I was so stoked for that show, but it was completely pointless and did not justify its existence whatsoever. One of the real low points for me was the duel, quote-unquote, between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader at the end of the 3rd episode. And unfortunately, that is one of the scenes LEGO decided to portray with one of the only 2 playsets they made for this entire series. Before I rip this set to shreds, I need to acknowledge the minifigures are actually fantastic, and they literally saved this set from being in first place on this list. But the build is bad. It's really bad. It's a giant gray slab of rock. That's it. There's almost no detail besides a couple of small side builds for some forced play features. This is a bad set representing a bad scene from a bad show. Just a loser all around. Number 2, 75201, First Order ATST. I bet a lot of people thought this set might be number 1 on my list. However, I have kind of a weird emotional attachment to this one. I made a joke to one of my friends a long time ago that if he ever got married, I was going to give him him this set as a gift before his wedding. Well, long story short, he did get married, and I did actually give him this set before his wedding, so I have kind of a soft spot for it. That being said, it still sucks. It really sucks. Just like the last set I talked about on this list, this is a bad set representing a bad scene from a bad movie. One of the most underwhelming parts of The Last Jedi is the confrontation between Finn and Captain Phasma. Fans were clamoring for those two to fight after their beef was properly established in The Force Awakens, but the actual scene we get in The Last Jedi is just really awful.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
And unfortunately, it's even further ruined by Deus Ex BB-8. What on earth was going on there? The concept of BB-8 piloting an ATST by himself is kind of ridiculous as is, and the reveal of him doing so with the actual vehicle's head falling off is just so silly. However, if the LEGO set had the head of the ATST and a fun mechanism to decapitate the walker, it might not have been that bad, but instead, the head was omitted entirely. This left us with a headless ATST that cost the same price as the 2016 version just 2 years later. Additionally, having both Rose and Captain Phasma, two of the worst characters from the sequel trilogy, in the same set really drags this one down. So what could possibly be worse than that set? It's set number 75147, Star Scavenger. If you've never heard of this 2016 set, I don't really blame you. The Star Scavenger, first off, is not canonical to Star Wars. This is something LEGO made up entirely. The set hails from the show The Freemaker Adventures. However, I don't hate all the other Freemaker sets. None of them are great in my opinion because they really serve zero purpose in the Star Wars universe. However, the designs aren't half bad. But 75147 just looks like an incomplete set. I cannot believe how bad this design is. It's really stud heavy, there's way too much going on, I hate the blockiness, and don't even get me started with the side build. I don't even know what I'm looking at there. If this were a set from like 2002, I could forgive some of this. But 2016, the same year that gave us Krennic's Shuttle, one of the sleekest LEGO Star Wars sets of all time, nah man. Additionally, this set comes with a bunch of useless minifigures nobody gives a crap about. Even at a very affordable $50, I skipped this set when it came out in 2016 with very good reason. It is that bad. I'm sorry, Freemaker Adventures, but the Star Scavenger is the worst LEGO Star Wars set of all time. But that is just my list. Comment with yours down below. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.
Let's go, Chrome Dome.